And we're here for the third pack, and unfortunately we opened a soul, which is not in our colors. We don't get to take it, but we do have some answers to it. Fortunately, we've got the Phyrexian Revoker, we've got the Flesh to Dust, so I'm not too worried about it. And like, this is a pretty strong effect, but it's in blue, and blue decks are generally pretty underpowered. This does give it kind of a shot in the arm, so to speak. So, passing a good card, but I think I'm going to take this Elvish Mystic. Elvish Mystic is not an effect that's like necessary to the archetype, but I think it's very worthwhile, especially because we've got some very powerful late game cards like a turn 4 Indulgent Tormentor or turn 6 Ob Nixilis. It's going to be pretty, going to put us pretty far ahead, I think, so I'm not too unhappy taking it. What do we have here? Not a lot again. Passing 2 Triplicate Spirits this pack doesn't feel very good, considering that we had to move out of white already. The rare's missing, so I'm just going to take a Siege Worm. I like having just one more big card effect. Like, we've already got 2 bombs, having a third, maybe even a fourth is going to be nice. Siege Worm is just a very solid card if you didn't know already. So, okay. I saw the Satyr Wayfinder and immediately locked in because it's very important for this archetype. Like, nothing else even in close to consideration besides the Typhoid Rats, but the Satyr Wayfinder is very important. I guess I'll take a Wall of Mulch. It's probably a little bit better than the Black Cat in our deck, just because it can sack itself, get it in the graveyard, and make our scavengers bigger, which is no small consideration. Sign in Blood is not, like, there's not a ton of room for it, because we have to, like I said, we have to fill our deck with lots of other slots. Ooh. So, in Garruk's Wake, actually, I think it's a reasonable card in some decks, including this one. Generally, the games come down to like super grindy, like gum up the board, make it hard for both players to attack, and that's where a card like In Garruk's Wake really shines. Like, games will get to 9 mana occasionally, and then you just blow them out. Obviously, we might not keep it in the main board, but if not, it's a very potent sideboard card to keep in mind. Some decks just can't handle it, and there's that Raw Feaster Maggot. So don't have to worry about that now. We are going to have to make a few cuts. And for all I have said about In Garruk's Wake just there, I think that's going to be the first card to go. Just because of how slow it is. So we could take another Witch's Familiar or a Necrobite, but I'm just going to hate this Sanctified Charge because I'm still salty about having to pass 2 Triplicate Spirits this pack. So, Return to the Rakes is not a great card, but it's pretty good against us because, like I said, the games end up being very grindy, and this effect can be pretty annoying later in the game against a white aggressive deck. Like, I could take this Selfless Cathar, but this effect is annoying but not unbeatable. Here's our original pack. I think I'm just taking it back to nature. Definitely not playing any of these other cards. Just throw that in the sideboard. We'll put Black Cat in the sideboard for now. So we only ended up with 2 Satyr Wayfinders, but we do have 2 Necro Assistants, so I think we're still fine in that department. I'm definitely glad I didn't take any more Undergrowth Scavengers because they would have been kind of mediocre. Kind of get diminishing returns on those. Oh wow, we get to Hate Draft a Welcome Turn even. It's one of the best cards against us. It's very limited ways to deal with it. Doesn't really matter at this point, so I'm just going to pause here and we'll be back for deck construction. Alright, so this is the 40 cards I have laid out at the moment. A couple things to point out, I guess, because most of it is straightforward. You'll notice I'm only playing 16 land, and the reason for that is we've got Elvish Mystic plus 2 Satyr Wayfinders, all of which kind of make up for one of the lands. Like, double Wayfinder, I'd say, counts as like almost a full land, plus the Mystic makes it somewhat reasonable to play only 16 land. So, but the main reason is, I think, like I said earlier, this matchup tends to be very grindy and games go longer, so you're more prone to flooding. So having only 16 land means you're going to draw more spells than your opponent on average by some small fraction of a percentage. So that's the reasoning for that. Other than that, a few last minute cuts. I cut the Crippling Blight and the Black Cat because, for the same reason, like, they're pretty low impact cards. Like, generally you want your early game stuff to just push you into the more powerful late game with our rares and our scavengers and whatnot. Other than that, we're just playing graveyard synergies. Restock is pretty insane. Some cheap interaction, and I'd say this is a wash, so we're just gonna submit this as is and move on to round number 1.